All right, Bobby. You've had a whole week to prepare for this.
I've had a whole week to prepare for this.
You act surprised every time I ask you to start the show.
It's kind of a fun tradition.
It's gonna be the same every time. I'm gonna say, "All right, Bobby," and then you're just gonna freeze like a deer in the headlights.
Today is. That's the wrong way. So I will admit I'm a bit flustered because on the way here I did something I've never done. I will talk about it in a moment.
Okay. All right, let's try this again. All right, Bobby, you're our intro guy.
Every day is a national day. Welcome to Today Is, a podcast about what today is. I'm Bobby Barker.
And I'm Joey Nickel.
And welcome to our podcast, Today Is.
All right, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so I actually practiced a little bit.
Oh, you did?
I did.
And you still froze up?
I still froze up. I'm a little bit flustered. On the way here, I was at a railroad crossing.
Okay.
Right? And I've been at plenty of railroad crossings before.
Was it in Middleburg or Green Cove?
Green Cove.
Okay.
So it was about two.
It was right before you got here.
About a mile away.
Okay.
Right. And I'm there, and I was there for about 10 minutes, and there's no train. And people around, and like there's 5 or 6 cars in front of me that just turn around. Like they do U-turns.
So the railroad crossing bar is down.
But
no train.
No train. Lights are flashing. No train. People are in front of me are turning around. They had been there before I got there. I'd been there at 10 minutes. They've been there probably at least 15. And so I got up. I was the first person in line then. There's like 5 or 6 cars behind me. I got out and went up and looked because you couldn't really see.
Yeah.
And
you got out of your car.
I got out of my car, went onto the train tracks.
And then got hit by a train and died?
Got hit by a train and died. Oh. And now I am an immortal who is just doing podcasts.
Well, now you're a ghost, a train ghost.
Yeah.
Like, like those people, like, the stories of like
ghost trains.
Like a train hits some woman, and then for 100 years later, she's seen walking the tracks of that train.
Right. Or
that's what you are right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Luckily, I'm within a mile.
That's peculiar.
That's the range. But I got up there and I looked, and there's no train coming.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the guy who was in the truck behind me, and I'm just like, and I drove through with the barriers down.
Yeah.
And there were like 20 cars
That's weird.
behind me at that point. The guy in the truck behind me, he followed me through. Huh. But I was sitting there.
Was it Vermont? Were you crossing at Vermont Street?
That sounds right. Yeah.
The one right here?
No. It's.
Was it further back?
Yeah, it's like a mile and a half away.
Let's see, where was it? Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I've never done that.
That's funny.
As much as I'm into like freedom and liberty stuff, like I don't.
You're not into crossing when the railroad crossing says you're going to die.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like breaking rules.
No,
like
listen. You're into freedom, but you're not into. You're into. You've always said you like warning labels. That's a pretty big warning label.
Yeah, it's a huge warning label. And I was also worried that like one of the cars behind me, it was like a cop who was going to like pull me over. I'm like, I don't think I'd get a ticket at that point.
No, he'd probably see that it was malfunctioning, and if he pulled you over, he'd probably say, "What the heck was that, man?" Right. And you'd probably say like, "Hey, I've been there forever, just waiting for this train to come, and it never comes. So I'm assuming it's malfunctioning." What would have been crazy? Wouldn't it have been terrible if you're like, you look around, you're like, I guess it's not coming, and then you go, and then the next car's like, okay, I guess it's not coming, and then he gets hit by a train.
Now I'm gonna have to go back that way. That's not the way I normally come.
But like the railroad crossings are usually put at straightaways, so you can see if there's an actual train coming. So like you probably could see pretty far either direction.
There were
or was there obstructions?
Enough trees Like you could see like maybe 50 yards, but I wanted to see a lot further.
But you can hear a train.
Yeah, I would think so.
Now, does the whistle actually make the bars go down?
No.
What makes the bars go down?
It has to be some kind of
sensor,
a sensor,
some sort of mechanism. They pass it, and then it makes the bars go down.
Yeah, or the train gets so close and it comes down.
It's not the whistle. You don't think it's the whistle?
I think that's more for us and dogs.
Yeah, I'm sure that's for us and dogs.
Yeah.
You know what they call the thing on the front of a train? That cage.
Oh yeah, that's the cow mover.
Yeah, the cow mover or the cow pusher. Yeah, that's what's on the front. So we had we went on a diving boat. That was, this boat was designed specifically for divers and snorkelers. Like, we rented a boat and they took us out, and they had this cage that flipped down on the front of the boat.
Right.
And we found out it was for divers climbing out, so you could climb up because it went into the water kind of deep. So like, if you were down there, you could use it to climb up if it was rough. And but it covered like the whole front of the boat, and he said it was a whale pusher. And I believed him. I thought that you really pushed whales with it. And I'm thinking, then later, I was a kid, I think. And then later I'm like, what kind of boat thinks they can push a whale? What kind of regular citizen's boat thinks they can push a whale? Like, that's insane.
Look at the egos on these guys just out here pushing whales around.
Right.
Like we hunt them for oil for a couple centuries. Now we just bully them.
Yeah, that was crazy. Whale hunting is really weird. I think people get mad about it because I don't think it's really necessary anymore.
No,
I think that's why people are mad about it, and certain whales are going endangered. But and that's why there's so many. But the problem is it's international waters.
Right.
These are very peculiar people that are doing the whale hunting.
Yeah, I think it's like one or two foreign countries at this point.
Yeah, it's like it's not very many. There's not very many countries that allow it. And so it's all done in international waters, and then the Navy doesn't do much about it. The Coast Guard can only do something if they're within the borders in the coastal borders of the U.S.
Right.
So you end up with people like the Sea Shepherds. Is that what they were called? Something like that.
I don't know.
Guys, they had documentaries about them on Discovery. Those guys are crazy. Those guys are. I mean, they're trying to do a good thing, but it's like they're really.
Yes.
Like, you think, like, people who join, like, Greenpeace and stuff like that are crazy, but these guys, man, they're really committed.
Yeah, I've kind of heard of them before, but I don't know much.
They do
them, yeah.
They're not, like, trying to kill people or anything, but they do, like, Packer, hold on a sec. Wait on that. You're making noises. They do, like, non-violent things, like shoot smelly bombs at the ships, or they'll do things to disable the ships or something in a way that can be undone and stuff like that. But sometimes they get rough, though. Sometimes they get rough because they get real zealous defending those whales.
Right. Yeah. I kind of stay out of that. I have no idea why people still like
whaling is so crazy because it's like, what is it for anymore? It's like, I don't even know. Do they still use it? I don't think they really.
It used to be for oil.
It used to be for oil, but is whale oil still as valuable as it used to be?
I can't think
it is. We don't need whale oil anymore.
I can't imagine it being as much of a delicacy.
It was used for a lot of stuff. Whale oil was we used it for flammable things or to grease things, and it was easy. That was before we really understood about harvesting oil from the ground. So whale oil was used a lot, especially in lamps and things like that. But it's like once we figured out light bulbs, like
right.
I just don't understand where the market is for the whale oil or whatever. Or the blubber.
It has to be some kind
there's
of.
There's got to be some somewhere.
Like there's the I don't know what it's called, but I know like whale tonsil stones or like things in their stomachs. They
really?
like throw
those are valuable. Up. They have ambergris.
Ambergris
is still valuable, which I still think doesn't need to be. I feel like ambergris at this point for perfume is a status thing.
Yeah.
Because they use it for perfume, but it's like I think there's companies that don't use ambergris for perfume, and it's fine. Like I don't.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, that's the one thing that I know that companies still want and
but
use.
You can get ambergris without killing the whales.
Exactly.
It is harder to find. Like, you got to really find it, though. But
there's usually an article like every couple years where somebody finds a ball of it.
Yeah, and it's worth a bunch of money. Yeah. So I don't know. I just I think it's dumb to. I think whaling sounds dumb. Obviously, I don't know anything about it. I'm obviously not an expert. I'm just a comedian on a podcast.
Here's what I think the best way to go forward with this discussion is one of our fans is going to invite us out on a whaling expedition.
Yeah, right.
And I think one of us should go with them, and one of us should go with the Sea Shepherds. Sea Shepherds.
And then we see who wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoever wins is the king of the podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, today's topic, I've been trying to hint at it, which you already know because you can see the title of the podcast before you start.
Right.
So I don't know why we act like this is some surprise what the topic is.
It's kind of a surprise to me sometimes.
Yeah. So today's topic is today is January 10th. I don't know if that's right.
That
it could be January 9th. No, I think it's January 10th. Today is January 10th, and today is... Well, this one's taking it really long. Peculiar People Day. So today we're going to talk about peculiar people in our lives, people that we have come across. I have come across quite a few peculiar people in my and what it says online when you look up Peculiar People Day, it says it's designed to celebrate those who have interesting hobbies or interesting habits or things that they like to do that other people maybe aren't as interested in.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to a lot of us. I think there's a lot of peculiar people out there that like to do unique things. I know I have peculiar things I like that I'm into. And I have some people in my life that are pretty peculiar. Do you have anybody in your life that's pretty peculiar?
I think most people in my life are peculiar in at least one way or another. But yes, there are definitely people that stand out.
Today, we have a special guest on the podcast, a very peculiar guest. And he has come all the way from the other side of the house. And you want to grab the stool?
Quite a distance.
Everybody, welcome to the podcast. No, bring it here. I'll open it on the camera. Welcome to the podcast, Packer Joseph.
Yay, Packer.
All right. We have a special peculiar stool.
That does not look like a stool.
Have you ever seen one of these?
No.
So there's a carrying case here.
Okay.
There's a little handle here. The carrying strap goes around the edge like that if you want it to. But it also expands to be a fully functioning stool.
Yeah.
So Packer's going to sit on this special rainbow stool.
That is, I do have to ask, what is the weight limit?
It is 400 pounds.
Really?
Here, stand up for a second, Packer.
That is impressive.
We're going to scoot you up. So it barely holds Packer.
Yeah.
Packer, you're what? You're what? 398 pounds?
I don't know, like.
397.
Yeah, probably 397.
Yeah, maybe 397.
Yeah, right? You weigh a lot more than me and Bobby, right? You weigh almost 100 pounds more than me and Bobby.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. Do you think you weigh more than me and Bobby?
No.
Oh.
Combined.
Oh, I thought you did.
Well, not
That's why I got this stool that can hold 400 pounds.
Well, not combined.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the stool I got from TikTok. It is like, you ever get one of those cups for scout camp or whatever?
Yeah, that's
a camping cup.
That's
exactly
what it looks like. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. The boys think it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
It's fun.
Packer, I think you're pretty peculiar.
I put a fry in ranch one time.
Wow.
You put a fry in.
That is unbelievable.
So here's the question: what happened to the fry?
It got ranch on it.
Okay.
And then you just threw it away afterwards?
No,
Oh, what'd you do with it after you put the ranch on the fry?
I ate a little bit of it.
You're talking to the microphone a little bit more. Yeah.
I ate a little bit of it, and it tasted weird.
Oh. Did you eat more fries with ranch?
No.
No.
Oh, well, that does sound peculiar.
Yeah, that is peculiar because I think most people like fries with ranch.
My dad does it.
Yeah, I'll eat fries with ranch. What's your favorite thing to dip fries in, though?
Ketchup.
Ketchup? Yeah, that's classic. You know what's funny is my children like ketchup. Do you like ketchup? You like ketchup, Packer. I like ketchup. You like ketchup? Lewis likes ketchup.
Oh, yeah. When I thought of ketchup, my cousin Evelyn, she drinks ketchup.
That's disgusting.
That is
peculiar.
Gross. Yeah.
Evelyn is a peculiar person.
So I will say, as far as ketchup sandwiches go, my dad used to have to eat ketchup sandwiches because they didn't have anything else to put on bread.
Yeah, that's a poor thing.
Yeah, that's and sometimes poor things become cuisine. So I can't judge that too harsh because I think I've got some cousins that still eat ketchup sandwiches because they choose to.
What's a poor thing that you eat? What's a thing that's like probably came out of somebody being cheap or poor that you now do? What's something you? What's something that you ended up being like? You know what? This is actually pretty good. And then
I'm
I know.
very happy to cut most of my drinks with water.
Oh, really?
Like
interesting.
most of my juices, even before I started being healthy and worrying about
juices can be
sugar.
strong though, especially like orange juice. That can be strong.
And and just always having instead of a entire glass of juice, a small drink of juice and a whole bunch of water.
Yeah.
And I've just
That's
always
probably
done
better
that.
for you anyway.
Yeah.
Packer, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that one time at school, I was at breakfast. I was eating my eggs, and then my friend was next to me, and he had eggs but with ketchup poured on them.
Oh, that actually doesn't sound too bad. Okay, I'll say this. So this may sound peculiar to some people. So all of my kids like ketchup. Me and my wife do not like ketchup.
What?
We do not like ketchup.
I didn't know that, Dad.
Yeah, I don't put ketchup on my burgers. I don't put ketchup on my hot dogs.
I don't mind ketchup. I don't order without it, but
We are not big fans, and we don't keep ketchup in the house usually. Packer, sit down. You got to sit down, buddy. Otherwise, we can't see each other. You got to stay sitting. Just keep your butt here. Yeah, we have lots of Chick-fil-A sauce, though.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
I like Chick-fil-A sauce. I
pretty
like
good.
honey mustard. I like what? No, don't get the bucket.
So
a bucket.
one thing I like to dip my fries in, and some people think this is a little peculiar, is mayonnaise.
That's where's that?
That's
European.
Not really
That's European.
peculiar.
Yeah, they like to do that in. They like to do that in Amsterdam.
Yeah. That's,
You know, in
Pulp
Europe,
Fiction.
it's not called a quarter pounder. Packer, you've got to stay sitting down, buddy.
What's it called?
It's called a Royale with cheese.
Because of the metric system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, what's the Big Mac called?
What's the Big Mac called?
Well, it's just called a Big Mac. Like, it's the same.
I have not seen that movie in at least 20 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Royale with cheese. I'll always remember that. You are determined to just be on our faces and not let us see each other, aren't you? Just stay with the microphone. Stay not that close. Right there. That's good. All right, Packer. What's your favorite thing to put on your burger?
Ketchup.
What's your favorite thing to put on a hot dog?
Ketchup.
What's your favorite thing to dip chicken nuggets in?
Ketchup.
What's your favorite thing to take a bath in?
Water.
Oh, I thought you were going to say ketchup.
Wait, actually, that sounds pretty good. You can lick it.
Okay, just keep your face in the microphone, but not too close. Packer, what is the weirdest thing that you like? What do you think the weirdest thing you like is? Nothing? We'll get back to you.
I'm thinking.
Bobby, do you have something you like that nobody else likes?
Ooh, probably.
Hey, Daniel, will you get me one of those? Will you get me one of those glass bottle sodas that's in the fridge?
But yeah, like I've always been a big fan of vegetables, but I don't think that's as much of a thing like as for adults as for kids.
Yeah.
Vegetables are the best.
I know.
What? What do you like that other people don't like?
Well, I forgot.
That's very good. I'm about to drink this soda. That's pink grapefruit soda.
Okay.
Because, all right, Alexa, stop. All right.
What? You have a can opener?
No. Does this look like a can?
No, this.
Does that look like I just opened a can?
Yeah. Okay, that was peculiar.
All right, Packer, thank you for being our guest today. That signal means that it's time to move on to our second guest. Thank you very much. Everybody give Packer a round of applause.
Yay, Packer.
All right, go sit back over on the couch.
And now it's Danny Rocco's
Okay,
turn.
now we're going to bring our second peculiar guest, and he has brought some props with him. No, don't. Just come to the table. Bring the stuff you're going to bring. All right.
I don't want to show them yet.
Why?
Because I want it to be.
No, we don't have time for that. Just come to the table. The surprise is now. Now you're going to show them. Where are you going? What? What? No, just come this way. Just come right here.
No.
What's the spoon for?
The grand plans of the youth.
All right. Daniel? Daniel, you are quite peculiar sometimes.
Yes, I am.
And you have some peculiar habits you like to indulge in.
I don't know what that word means.
So that's fine. You don't need to. So what is your peculiar thing you've brought to us today to show us?
I'll show you.
Ooh, a plate made out of paper? That's very peculiar. Ooh,
Don't make a mess.
I won't.
that's a lot of Parmesan cheese.
So, Daniel, for his Christmas wish list, he had one main thing on his Christmas wish list.
One main thing.
Yeah, it was
Parmesan cheese.
a bottle of Parmesan cheese. That was on his Christmas wish list. And he eats Parmesan cheese plain.
It's
That's peculiar.
It's peculiar.
It's slightly weird. Yeah, it's tasty. Parmesan cheese is good. I usually don't eat it when it's powdered. I usually like this.
I do like well, here's the thing. I only like it grated when it's fresh.
Yeah.
When I get the grated stuff pre-grated, like in a tub or whatever, it always seems to be a little too hard, a little too dry for me.
Yeah.
But I'll get a block of Parmesan and grate it myself.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And then it's, like they do at Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And then you get, we have one of those things. By the way, you can buy one of those things from Olive Garden.
I did not know that.
You walk into Olive Garden and you say, I want one of those cheese things. They'll sell it to you, and they'll sell it to you, and they'll give you some cheese to go with it.
I was not aware
There's
of
a
that.
life hack. Go to Olive Garden, buy one of those cheese grater things. They'll sell it to you along with some free cheese.
I'm gonna go buy some free cheese.
All right, Daniel, what's the next peculiar thing you have that you've been making so much noise about?
Here, hand it.
Just hand it. I think he was trying to help you open it.
Veggie straws with Parmesan.
Veggie straws with Parmesan. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds more delicious than peculiar.
Yeah, I think it's kind of peculiar watching you pack the veggie straws with Parmesan.
The veggie straws are zesty ranch flavored veggie straws.
Yeah, they're even better.
Yeah, Packer, come try one. We knew at some point we'd get a food podcast in.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, are you eating solid foods now?
I am eating solid foods.
You are?
Yes.
What did you get to have anything for Christmas, or you weren't eating solid foods yet? by
Oh,
then?
I was a little bit had like part of a Hawaiian king roll, King's Hawaiian roll, and a little bit of honey baked ham, like
Oh,
like
that's nice.
real chopped up,
Yeah.
like in the juice at the bottom, just so it's good and moist. Yeah, that
I
was.
love honey baked ham.
Oh, honey baked ham is
Honey
fantastic.
baked ham is good, and they have a turkey that's good too.
Oh, I'm very familiar.
We used to get the turkey around the holidays. We'd get a pound of the turkey and then get rolls to put it on and stuff. And they have that they have like a
honey mustard
that you can buy there. That's really good.
I worked at Honey Baked Ham
Really?
for like for holidays for like 3 or so years while in college. Like I'd go there, work like a 60 or 70 hour week to make Christmas money or around Easter or Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, Easter is always a big one for Honey Baked Ham. Yeah, that's I like Honey Baked Ham a lot. They have good sandwiches.
Yeah,
they have good salads like pasta salad and potato salad and stuff like that.
I don't have a whole lot of experience in the food industry. I always liked working there. It was not easy, but it was good, and they treated people as well as they could. The only real complaint, and it doesn't sound like a complaint until you're there. They fed us lunch every day, but it was honey baked ham and turkey. It was just like I couldn't eat ham for a while after.
You had it enough.
Yeah,
you had it enough. Yeah, that's funny. My only experience in the food industry was right after my mission. Right after I got back from my mission for the church,
right,
which is a 2-year job.
There's some in the fridge.
Packer, just come around to the front, or just get your own Parmesan. That was his Parmesan. This, by the way, that bottle is his.
Wow.
That is entirely Daniel's bottle of Parmesan.
I got it for Christmas.
He got it that was wrapped. We
That
wrapped
is-
that and gave it to him. We got it at Costco.
That is a peculiar gift. I like it.
What was I talking about? Oh, my only job in the food industry was right after my mission. I worked for Winn-Dixie Deli.
Okay.
Winn-Dixie Deli. Now, they did not give us free food. Is that Daniel's? No. Okay.
It had the red marks on it.
Okay, just a little bit. That's the other thing Daniel asked for Christmas.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
Yeah, whipped cream. Every year he gets Parmesan and whipped cream for Christmas.
I did it the last year and the year before that too.
Well, we have to keep it in the fridge though, and then we're like, oh, there might be another present for you in the fridge. And he goes, is it whipped cream? And we're like, I don't know. And he's like, well, there were 2 whipped creams in the fridge, and now there's 1 whipped cream and 1 suspiciously shaped wrapped package that is the same shape as the whipped cream. So,
I get it. These are cool gifts. My stepson actually gets a can of the marshmallow fluff every year.
That sounds good.
that does sound good. My kids like marshmallow fluff. Well, now Packer's trying veggie straws with whipped cream. I think you're going to mostly taste whipped cream. This is Packer's. What do you think?
That's good.
Yeah?
Let me try some.
All right, veggie straws with whipped cream. By the way, Zesty Ranch veggie straws with whipped cream.
I mean, if you have any other flavor, why would you even try?
So, I don't remember what I was talking about.
Winn-Dixie Deli.
Oh, yeah. So I worked at Winn-Dixie Deli. They wouldn't give us free food, but we got like a discount on a sandwich.
Right.
But it's a deli, so there was like I could make any kind of sandwich I wanted to. So I'd always choose the like really high-end hams and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
I would choose like maple brown sugar ham and things like that. It was very good. And then one day the fridge broke, like the part of the refrigerator broke, and we had to throw out a bunch of stuff. And I brought home 2 turkeys, that like 2 deli turkeys that you slice.
Right.
But I don't have a slicer at home, so we were just like cutting thick cuts of them like turkey
Nice.
steaks and like frying them up and stuff like that. It was pretty good.
That sounds great.
And then every night, whatever got thrown out, like I could bring home. So sometimes I bring home ribs or a rotisserie, rotisserie chicken or whatever, because any of the hot food items we had to throw out before, at the end of the night.
Right.
So every once in a while, a homeless person or a homeless family or whatever would show up to the dumpster because they knew
Right.
what time. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was only throwing away cupcakes. And they're like, "Oh, you got any?" I felt bad because I was like bringing home ribs. I was like, "All right," so I gave them the ribs and a chicken, I think.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't happen all the time though. Like most of the time we'd sell out of chickens or we'd sell out of ribs, but if we didn't, I got to bring them home, and I'm fat, so
hey, yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, that is what is called a fringe benefit.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, it was great.
That is fantastic.
The bakery too. So we were next to the bakery. We didn't work at the bakery, but we were next to it. And then the bakery, they had to throw out everything that was expiring that day, and so we'd take home cupcakes and cookies. And one time I brought home like this giant birthday cake.
Right.
It was pretty nice to have some extra stuff to bring home.
Nice.
I was gonna try to think of a. Have you met any famous people that are peculiar?
I think every famous person.
Is peculiar. I would agree with that. I'm gonna tell you a story about a famous person I met, who you may have heard this story before because I've told it on stage, but this guy. I'm gonna say it because wrestling is been in the news lately. You know about wrestling?
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
So WWE Raw is on Netflix now.
Right. Yep.
And to introduce WWE Raw to Netflix, the guy they decided to bring out to be like, here's the opening of WWE Raw was Hulk Hogan. And he was booed off the stage.
Oh my.
People hate Hulk Hogan now. Which is a shame because I loved Hulk Hogan when I was a kid.
Right, yeah. He was the man.
He was the guy, man.
Wrestling.
He was wrestling. That's why they brought him for the first episode of WWE Raw on Netflix. And he got booed off the stage. And I know that he's a Trump supporter. He went to the RNC and did the shirt thing, but he had a Trump shirt underneath and stuff like that. I don't even think that's why he got booed off the stage. I think he got booed off the stage because the people just don't like him anymore. I think he's done too many terrible things and lied too much to people that they're just like, we're done with you. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah, I can believe that. I do know that. And I know it's wrestling, but I know he lost some fans when he went villain for a couple of years.
He did. He went heel when he joined the NWO. Which was the plan. Like him and two other guys, Steve Nash and I just forgot his name. Is it Steve Nash? Is that what I'm thinking of?
That sounds like
no.
A
That's
basketball
the Phoenix Suns basketball player.
Yeah.
Something Nash. Anyway, I can't remember everybody's name, but him and two other guys formed the NWO.
Okay.
Packer, go close the fridge. Close the fridge. Formed the NWO to be a competitor to the WWE, and his job, he decided he wanted to be a heel because he was like the good guy. He was known as being the good guy in the WWF and the WWE. So I think he just wanted to be a heel for a while. He wanted to be the bad guy for a little bit. Most wrestlers will do that. They'll go back and forth or whatever. Not yet, Packer. And he changed his name to Hollywood Hogan. He dyed his hair. Like it became this whole thing.
He had
the black
going.
with still kept the handlebar mustache with the blonde handlebar mustache. But so there was that whole thing. Then so I think that was the first downfall of him. But I think he kind of was coming back and forth, and people liked him, but now people hate him. And I think one of my most interesting experiences meeting a person was meeting a wrestler. And now when I was a kid, when I was like 12, 13, 14, I think even up until I was maybe 16 or 17, I was a huge wrestling fan. Like the 90s, I was all through the 90s, huge wrestling fan. WWF, then it became WWE because they figured out they liked animals or something. I was a huge wrestling fan. I'm on a plane. I can't remember exactly where I'm flying from at the time, but I'm on a plane with my brother. And we're with the whole family, but I'm sitting with my brother, and we're sitting on against the right side. There, it's an aisle. He's got the aisle. I've got the aisle. He's got the window. Now, I will point out he wanted the window. He fought for the window, and he pulled the older brother card and took the window. That will come back to haunt him here in a few minutes, because on walks to the plane. Now we're sitting. All right, and we're back.
Hi.
Thanks for that was our first commercial break in history.
Thanks for their sponsorship.
So and now it's been very suspenseful for you to hear what I was going to talk about right now. I don't know how long I was going on there. I'll have to take a look. So anyway, we are sitting just beyond first class, right? And one seat passed. First class. The whole plane fills up. Alexa, stop. Whole plane fills up. Then on walks to the plane, the last person on the plane, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Whoa, love it.
Walking onto first class, and the baggage was full in first class, so he had to put his bag above our seat because there was a space above our seat. So he's walking. I saw it as soon as he walked on the plane, and I was hitting my brother. I was like, hey, Macho Man Randy Savage just walked on the plane. And he goes, how do you know it's Macho Man Randy Savage? And I said, well, he is wearing a cowboy hat with rhinestones on it. He is wearing a sleeveless shirt. His beard is a different color than his hair. And he's wearing glasses, and he cannot possibly see out of those glasses because they say the words Macho Man on the lenses. So, yeah, it's Macho Man Randy Savage for sure.
Absolutely.
There's no mistaking this peculiar man. He is certainly Macho Man Randy Savage, and he's there with his girlfriend at the time, who was also a wrestler, Gorgeous George, I think. So he's getting on the plane. He realizes he's got to put his bags just past first class, comes right in front of us, puts his bags right above us. I mean, I am this close to Macho Man Randy Savage's armpit. Like I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is. For me, at this time in my life, like this is, I think I was maybe 14 or 15. I was like, this is amazing. So the whole flight, I'm like, we're freaking out. We're like, I got to get an autograph. I'm just nervous the whole flight, trying to figure out what to do. My brother finds a piece of paper and a pencil. He was an artist, so he always had paper and pencil and stuff like that. So he gets a piece of paper and a pen. I think it was a pen. And on a little notebook, he comes back to get his bags. Reaches his arm up, unlatches it. As soon as he unlatches it, I say, Mr. Savage, because I'm a polite boy. Right. I want to be respectful. I say, Mr. Savage, and then he doesn't even look down, and he says, yeah, honey. I don't know why he called me honey. To this day, I don't know why. Like, I don't know if he was messing with me. I don't know if he thought I was a woman. I still don't know, but I don't care. Like, I'm gonna talk to my hero. I'm gonna get this autograph, right? So he's got it lashed. Doesn't look down. Says, "Yeah, honey." I say, "Can I have your autograph, please?" And he goes, "Sure thing." And he takes the pen and he takes the paper and he signs it, Macho Man, which by the way is not his name. That is just his title, Macho Man. By the way, Randy Savage is also not his name.
It's also a title.
It's also a title. But he only signs it Macho Man. That's it. And then hands it back to me and says, here you go, sweetheart. Now, when I looked at that signature, he had put a little heart after Macho Man. And I framed that signature. And I put it on my wall for 20 years.
It should have been there longer.
In fact, he had just announced that earlier that week that he was running for president, and so they did a story about him on the TV Guide. So he was on the cover of the TV Guide right after I got that signature.
The week that you got his
signature. The week I got the signature.
He was a presidential candidate on TV Guide.
On TV Guide, a TV Guide's presidential candidate, and his signature was on the TV Guide too, as kind of a thing, and then I framed the TV Guide and my real signature with the heart on it together, and then it hung on our wall for a long time, for many a years to come. I don't know where it is now. We've lost it. I don't know where it is now, but that was a prized possession. What I'm trying to say is I could have been Mrs. Macho Man Randy Savage. That's what I'm trying to say. I could have been married to Macho Man Randy Savage if I had played my cards right.
Today would have been a very different podcast.
Yes, it would have been a very different podcast. I would have been the most peculiar person. Can you imagine being married to a wrestler? That sounds crazy. I think that's a different breed than being married to a different kind of famous person. Like if you're married to an actor, I feel like that's different than being married to a wrestler. It's just
it absolutely is.
I always feel like wrestlers are always on. Like wrestlers have to be that guy because they're kind of creating a a veil of like, this is the guy. Like they're trying to make it seem realistic.
Right.
So like, I mean, he was that guy, Macho Man Randy Savage. Like he was wearing the glasses and everything. Like I almost feel like it would be exhausting to be a wrestler because then you probably, it's probably not today. The 90s probably more so than today.
Right.
Like John Cena's not walking around in no shirt and jean shorts. You know, it's like he's just normal now. Like he's just walking around normal.
Right. And well, Randy Savage, like aside from being like a huge jacked guy, like if he took all of the things off, took the cowboy hat off, you know, and he just went out in public in normal clothes, he could probably get away.
He probably could blend in
a little,
but he is big. Like that's the thing about wrestlers; they're all tall and big dudes. Right. So it is hard to hide, and his voice.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he starts talking, he shows up to McDonald's. He probably got noticed at McDonald's drive-thrus. You know, he's like, "Yeah, I'd like a Big Mac," and it's like, "Are you Macho? What? You Macho Man Randy?" Like right away, or they're like, "Yeah, I'd like a number 2." It's like, "Do you want to supersize that?" "Oh yeah." It's like that. It's like, wait a minute,
Mr. Savage.
You're either Mr. Savage or the Kool-Aid Man. So, like, he has such a distinct voice. I just think that probably doesn't happen as much anymore, especially because a lot of wrestlers wear masks now or paint their faces.
Yes,
which I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that's why they do it.
It's got to be a factor.
So that because you're seeing them play every week. It's more. I think it's more so than like a football player because a football player you're wearing a mask. There's 11 of you on the field. You watch wrestling every week. It's you and the other guy, maybe 4 guys total in the ring. And you're getting. I think you're getting a lot of FaceTime on TV. I think you're getting noticed.
That and they also have like the storylines, the plot lines where
Yes.
where you're getting
Yes, you're getting into it.
them.
It's like so. I don't know. I just think that it would be pretty crazy to be friends with or married to a wrestler. I think that'd be pretty crazy.
It
used
sounds
to.
stinky.
Yeah, they're probably pretty stinky after
Yeah,
the matches.
yeah,
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't remember him smelling too bad. I had a good whiff of his armpit. So
You're right there, and it sounded like heaven.
yeah, it was great. It was the best smelling armpit I've ever smelled. Macho Man Randy Savage, R.I.P. He has since passed on. Florida native, I believe. I believe he was from Florida.
That I don't know.
I think he was.
I do know he was.
He died
was
in Florida.
A minor league baseball player.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Also, my favorite Spider-Man villain. You remember that? Very first Spider-Man movie, very first villain of Spider-Man.
Oh,
When Spider-Man tried to be a wrestler.
Yes,
Remember that?
yep.
It was Macho. His name wasn't Macho Man Randy Savage in the movie, but that's...
It was he was.
Yeah,
Macho Man.
he was Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, he was just playing himself, but they had a different name for him. I forget what it was called, but yeah, that was a good. That was when comic book movies were like, okay, these can be pretty good.
Yeah,
These can
yeah,
be.
like,
These don't have to be cheesy.
You're like, all right. I'm actually enjoying this,
Yeah.
and other people are in here
Yeah,
enjoying it
I know.
as well.
That was a good movie. All right, I think it's about time to wrap it up. Before we wrap it up, did you have any shows this week or anything since the last podcast?
I don't have any shows this week. My next official show is going to be on. It's 2 Wednesdays from now. Whatever date that is.
The 15th is next week, so
it is the 22nd.
22nd.
Yep, 22nd of.
Yeah, the Comedy Zone.
At the Comedy Zone with Danny Johnson is actually going to be headlining.
Really?
That show. Yep.
Huh.
And he's
Okay.
recording his special like 2 nights
I know,
later.
he's recording a special.
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so he wanted to get a couple extra
We'll
minutes.
have to get him on the podcast sometime. Danny Johnson, look him up. DannyJohnson.com, I think, probably. He's on all the stuff. Look him up. Danny Johnson. He's bald, has glasses. If you see a guy that's not bald and doesn't have glasses, it's not the Danny Johnson you're looking for.
He's got a dry bar special.
He's got a dry bar
Start
special.
there.
It's really good. He's coming out with his own special that he's recording and that he'll be releasing in the next couple months or so. But super funny dude, super awesome dude. I've had him on a ton of shows.
It's the same. His production company, management company is the same group that put Leanne Morgan.
Yes, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I've heard. So he's got a great group working for him. That he's putting together this special. So yeah, check that out. We're plugging him tonight.
Absolutely.
I will be at the Comedy Zone on the 15th.
On the 15th. Okay,
Next week I'll be at the
before.
Comedy Zone. Yeah, so I got that coming up. The 31st, I have Barley and Pie. Please, if you're in the area, if you're anywhere in the Jacksonville area or Clay County, Fleming Island, Green Cove Springs, Orange Park, Middleburg, come out to Barley and Pie. Wes Johnson will be our headliner on the 31st, January 31st. It's every last Friday of the month, unless I decide to change it otherwise.
Yeah, that's also going to be a killer show.
It'll be a great show. Wes Johnson's great.
I love going there. If I don't have a booking that night, I will show up.
Yeah, you live not too far. So.
Not too far.
Yeah.
It's
and they have great food. Bobby can't partake, but they have great food there.
I had food there before my surgery. It is fantastic.
So what are you up to now? How many weights? How many weights have you lost?
I've lost a lot. I'm actually not putting it out for another week or so.
Okay.
Because
your actual weight is?
Yeah, there's my stepdaughter's first wedding anniversary is coming up, and I had a suit for that, and I'm going to be putting that suit back on and getting some pictures out.
Wait, were you lighter back then or heavier back then? Like what?
It should fit about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, but it just hasn't been worn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our podcast today. Please join us. Please email us if you have any questions, relationship advice. We'll try to help you out as best we can. We're both experts in relationships, obviously.
We are both married.
We are both married for multiple years. I've been married for almost 17 years. You've been married for...
It's what, 2020? I've been married for 14.
17 years. We got a lot of relationship experience. So
look at us. We are married. You want our advice.
Yeah, right? How did we pull it off? That's what you want to know. So email us at todayispodcast@gmail.com. Also, like us on Instagram, Today is Podcast, YouTube, Today is Podcast, all this stuff, Today is Podcast. Joey Nickel 0.05 on all of the stuff except for Instagram. It is Joey Nickel, Joey 5 Cent, Bobby Parker Comedy.
Bobby Parker Comedy
on all the platforms. Thank you for joining us. Today has been Peculiar People Day. I'm Joey Nickel.
I'm Bobby Parker.
And I'm Danny Rocco.
And see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.